welcome the Name Change Choir. to your feet as we receive our president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. 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 Shake hands with the person next to you. Tell them you love them. Never give up and never give in. Until you will come, please wake up. Troubles and trials won't last always. It's hard on outside, you'll see what's right. Life is roll on, but be strong. A better day is coming, and it won't be so long. Yes, change will come. Change will come. We saw this week in Angola, one of the ports in Africa that our forefathers were sent from. One of the major ports that we were sold and traded and sent into 400 years of slavery. And beyond slavery, there be segregation and discrimination. But we saw this week the President of the United States, white, blue-collar man from Pennsylvania, raised in Pennsylvania, from Delaware, go back to that country to announce a railway trade. But he didn't stop there. He acknowledged the sin of American history and the plight of Africa that had been discarded. And that is why I keep telling you that this is not an exercise for sprinters. You need the long distance runners, those that can hold out and know that right may be delayed in your timetable, but right will never be denied. So if you have the faith, God has the power, and your change will come. Your change will come. Your change. Your change. December 1st, 1955, a woman sat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Name was Rosa Parks. She refused to give up her seat. she had decided that enough was enough. They arrested her. A lot of people act like segregation was a bad attitude. No, it was criminal. Yeah, that's right. One of the reasons that we fight as hard as we do in National Action Network is because when they change the laws, it changes the behavior. And the behavior in Montgomery that day was that the policeman was behaving correctly. She was misbehaving according to the law. And they arrested her. Young preacher became the leader of a boycott. He had just started pastoring. He'd come from getting a PhD from Boston University, which was rare in those days. And he pastored the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in downtown Montgomery. And for a year, people said it's better to walk with dignity than ride in shame. Well, tomorrow morning at 10:30 at that same church, Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, I'm preaching the Martin Luther King Memorial. But the difference is that in Montgomery, December 1st, 55, blacks had to sit in the back of the bus or go to jail. In December of 1955, blacks couldn't vote. Blacks couldn't use a toilet downtown. But tomorrow morning when I get up to preach there, there's a black mayor coming to give me an award. There are black members of the city council. There are blacks that own their own businesses. Not because the weather changed, but because people changed the climate of the town. And I keep telling you that even though you might lose an election, don't lose God's selection of you. And if you hold on, if you hold out, your change will come. Give them a hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally for you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem. And you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and you that are watching us various parts of the country and even abroad, we're happy to be with you to give you another report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Sister Nancy Darlene Crawford. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. And give a hand to our guest inspirational speaker today, Reverend Oliver George. Give him a hand. I know he got to get back to Queens, but I'm going to say a few things before he goes. We're happy to have him. We'll give a hand to Gwen Carr, mother of Eric Gardner. A lot of things that I want to go through and deal with this morning. And you that have come out and braved the cold, it is cold in New York. But so many of you have come out and many of you just stayed home watching. I always, you know, my calling has been in ministry, Reverend Jordan, to be a social justice activist and build a civil rights group, not to pastor a church. But you find that you get pastoral concerns, even though you're not a pastor. So I really am worried about Tyrone. You all right? Do not pass me by. You all right? Let me know if we need to talk. But you went way up in that don't pass me by. Got me a little concerned. I started to go get my olive healing all out and come out here and anoint you. But don't worry about it. When I pray, I'm going to ask God, don't pass you by. I got the message. You in my next prayer. Give him a hand. Didn't he sing this morning? I love it when the Spirit get a hold of Tyrone. And I'm quiet. Let me first and foremost say that I want to thank all of you that have joined this week and the weeks before in our group that has been going every day to the Neely trial. There has been a presence of National Action Network and others, because everybody's not in the same group, don't approach things the same way. But where we can show operational unity, it shows community maturity. We don't have to be on the same page, but we have to be reading from the same book. And one of the reasons why it is important, Gwen Carr comes here every Saturday. It reminds us what we're dealing with in the Jordan Neely case is exactly what we dealt with in the Eric Garner case. And this is even a step past that. Because in the Eric Garner case, we were fighting against police with a chokehold. In this case, you talk about a civilian with a chokehold. I mean, if they are now going to make it legal that any common civilian citizen has the right to get up and take matters in their own hand and choke someone to death, that's a threat to everybody. That's it. Now, some would argue that, well, Rev, he was unruly, or I felt threatened. Well, the problem with that in a legal framework is who decides what is threatening, who decides what is out of control. Once you let civilians determine the level of what should be apprehended, then anybody can get, I can get on a train and just walk on and somebody say, I feel threatened. Let's welcome Impact TV all over. One of the reasons why in a society, I want y'all to get this because I'm reading all of this stuff. I've been traveling and stuff, and I know that Reverend McHenry and Ashley and all of y'all are going to the court, and I have not gone because I wanted to show our leadership is not just me.
Yeah, very good.
You know, people say, is Reverend Al coming to the court? Is Reverend Al going to DEI? No, I want to not only announce young leaders, I want to push them out there. If I'm there, they're going to talk to me. Let them handle some of the microphone. That's how I learned. Is Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington stepped back, gave me a chance. And we developed enough organization infrastructure that I can be in Washington, get ready for the march while they in the Neely trial. But my point on the Neely case, as I was reading it and getting reports back from Reverend McHenry and others, is that the premise is off of the review of some of those in the media. The premise is how some of the passengers felt. Yeah. But the premise ought to be the law cannot go by how you may feel. Because if your feelings are unfounded, then you can literally take someone's life based on unfounded feelings. Now, doesn't make your feelings wrong. But that's why the law is there to protect you. But anytime you legitimize somebody taking the law in their own hands, then it puts everybody in danger. That's the case. And that's why I said, I did the eulogy at the funeral. And that's why I've said throughout the whole proceedings that this is about our dealing with the question of civilian power to execute their will.
That's it.
Now this is not new. Funny, Reverend Bird. 1984, I fought another case similar to this. You got the chokehold similar to Aragona. But in 84, we had a case called Bernard Getz.
Yes, 40 years. Been 40 years. Yes. 40 years.
40 years ago. Any of y'all that watch Loudmouth, the documentary out on me, 40 years ago, man was sitting on a train. 3 young black young men walked by. And as young folks would do, good or bad, I'm not justifying folks doing it. Said, I need $5, give me $5. And he took out a gun and shot one permanently damaged. And later found out that he had dum-dum bullets, which means there was some premeditation that when the bullet hit the body, it would explode and cause maximum damage. They made a hero out of him. He left town, was on the run, and they said, oh, the vigilante fighting crime. The mayor at the time praised him. The federal prosecutor didn't want to touch him, named Rudy Giuliani. And I stood up, lead National Youth Movement at that time.
That's right.
And only a couple of us, Reverend Herbert Darcher was one of them, and said, wait a minute, you can't make a hero out of a vigilante taking the law in his own hands. And the question that I raised then, and I still raise, is that if those 3 young men had been white, you'd have called them beggars. If they black, they muggers. White guy asks you downtown on the train, $5, oh, he's begging. Black guy asks for $5, I'm threatened. He's a mugger. It is part of the racial dynamics of this time. So just like 40 years ago, we fought against, 40 years later, we're an independent case, and we're going to keep fighting until we make it clear we are not going to have civilian vigilantism. I think, again, I want to commend, and don't take for granted the people that get up and go down every day and march and sit in the courtroom. Yes. Ain't nothing glorious about sitting around all day. but they put the cause of all of us above and beyond their own comfort. And I wanted to start by saluting them. Give them another hand. Secondly, I want to encourage everybody to become very much involved during going into the Christmas season and getting people ready for the January 20th rally in March. As I said, I'll be preaching tomorrow morning the anniversary of Dexter Avenue, King Memorial Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. And when I think about the King movement, and I think about how far it brought us from that Montgomery boycott where I'm preaching tomorrow to where we are today, and I think about what is at risk. See, I want y'all to get this. People been calling me, well, should we go to Washington? Trump's getting inaugurated that day. Well, yeah, that's why we need to go. We're not going over there to confront Trump. We're not going over that side of town. But there must be a statement made in the Capitol that day. And that is a statement by us. The fact is that there is a clear and present danger to Dr. King's dream and all that came out of that dream. And we must be present to say that. As Trump takes his oath of office, put his hand on the Bible and is sworn in, the 47th President of the United States, we're going to be at Metropolitan AME Church after we march, taking an oath to keep Dr. King's dream alive. Why? Because they have announced, this is not some hope that they got. This is not some thing that I dreamed of. This is not just us selling something to the public. They've announced that they're going to end diversity, equity, and inclusion. Trump said that. Trump said that we're going to wipe out DEI. And he even said that I am looking how I can give reparations to whites that didn't get in schools or didn't get contracts. You're talking about reparations, he's talking about white reparations. I'm talking about straight out language. This is not inferred. This is what he said. Which undermines the entire civil rights movement that led to desegregation and voting rights and open housing and affirmative action. All of that is at stake. So how are you and I alive at a time that they're going to dismantle everything that we benefited from? We can get all we need. We ain't got all we want. We are not where we need to be. But they're taking away the little we got on our holiday. January 20th is the federal holiday of Martin Luther King. And we're going to be silent about it. Suppose if they had been silent 40 years ago. Or 60 years ago with Rosa Parks. Where would you be now? You certainly wouldn't be working where you're working. You wouldn't be living where you living. I mean, do you ever stop and think about it was not by just some automatic occurrence that you live at a better lifestyle than your grandparents? That's because some folks took time to stand up for you, to give for you when you didn't have it. So I want everybody to meet us in Washington. We're going to march from the park and go to the church. So if people worry about it's going to be cold, we only march in a mile. Bring your muffins. And we're going nowhere near the inauguration. I'm not going down there to fight. I'm not January 6th. We're not going down there. We're going to stay in Northwest Community and march to Metropolitan AME Church. Why march to Reverend George, why we going to Metropolitan AME Church? That is a historic church that Frederick Douglass used to go to. That's the, Frederick Douglass' funeral was there. In that building where we marched. Rosa Parks' body was brought there when they brought to Washington. We want to stand on that sacred ground on Martin Luther King federal holiday and take an oath that we don't care who they stack in the cabinet, who they put over different divisions and different agencies. We are going to keep the dream of Dr. King alive. So those of you watching me and those of you here that have not signed up, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net right now. www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign up and say, I'll be there on January 20th. You can say I'm going to fly. You can say I need to know if there's a bus from my city. Whatever it is, sign up right now. Because if you're waiting, I go off the TV, you be saying, well, what do you say to www? So do it now while you hear me say www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Our chapters around the country are already organizing, and we have buses moving forward. Let me say, when I alluded to this whole cabinet thing, one of the things that is becoming more and more apparent to me every day is that not only must we save what has been gained for our community, we have to save the decency and standards and values of this country.
That's right.
Yes.
It is one of the things that Dr. King, I was on Nicole Wallace's show yesterday on MSNBC. One of the things Dr. King's movement did was it not only changed the social order of blacks and whites and race relations, but it changed the character of this country.
Yes, that's right.
Part of Dr. King's movement made it more humane.
That's it.
And made us question wars like Vietnam.
That's it.
And you've got to ask yourself, where is the country going? When you have someone that right-wingers in Fox TV say is an alcoholic, that he run around getting pissy drunk. Y'all know I'm from Brownsville, so I say it the way I say it. And mistreated women. And they gonna put him over the Pentagon. Think about that now.
Jesus, help us, help us.
3 million people under his supervision.
Jesus, help us.
3 million enlisted, men and women, and the staff all over the world. And he gonna be in charge of defense. Never ran nothing but his mouth on Fox TV. So even if he didn't have all the baggage, he does not have any executive experience to be over defending the lives of the people in this country. Where are the standards now? You put a woman that was the executive over wrestling. And put her over education. Well, you know, Reverend, she was on an education committee.
That's what they said. One committee.
Well, I was on a Good Neighbors committee, but I ain't never home. Being on a committee don't make you qualified to run education for all of the children in the country. Where are the standards? You nominate somebody over the Justice Department that had been investigated for sex trafficking and having sex with an underage girl. And you reluctantly pull them out. What I'm thing is this whole Trump era is not only leading back to the pre-civil rights days, they are lowering the values and the standards of what this country stands for. When you look at the fact that you can't even tell your children what is correct now, what is proper behavior, when you've got people that are known, proven to be misbehaved, that you're going to put over government. We got to save this country to save ourselves. This whole Trump thing, you gotta depersonalize it. I think some of us are too focused just on Trump and not what Trump is doing. Trump is changing the whole standards in this country and got the blessings of many that ought to be condemning it. Well, you know, it's interesting to me. Where is the white evangelical leaders? When you got people accused of sex trafficking, accused of underage girls, accused of being alcoholics, that they be putting over departments. Why haven't they said anything about that? These folks that preach morality, preach you going to hell, preach about unforgivable sin, haven't opened their mouth about any of this. I mean, it is a stark and clear picture of what we are dealing with. That's why St. Paul was right. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. If ever was a time I understood that scripture, principalities, wickedness in high places, and the evangelical preachers have gotten convenient laryngitis. We'll go right to the Bible. It was the high priest that blessed the iniquity of the pharaohs and the rulers. It was the high priests that were the leaders of the church that sanctified blatant sin and iniquity. And that's what's happening now. Got preachers running around worried about me interviewing Kamala Harris. And ain't worried about a drunk maybe over the Pentagon. Did Kamala Harris pay shop? First of all, everybody knows that we went and did a 10-city tour. Central Park 5. Stand-up Carrie White's here this morning. One of Central Park 5. And George Floyd's brother, Terry, stand up. We all went on the road. Everybody know the money we raised, non-positive. We can go out there telling who to vote for, but telling the story. Everybody know where is that money. Like they gave me some money. First of all, if I was going to sell something, it would be for more than that. Don't play me cheap. But second of all, Kamala Harris did my show twice last year. Toured me in the White House and did it once the year before. So everybody know that when you raise, if it's $1 million, expenses on the road and flying and hotels and all that. And we paid for having lunches, 100 ministers each city, buses and all. But they'd rather have you major in that. What happened? Oprah got $1.9 million. Oprah's production had to be paid for. What did he give Beyonce? Shop. Rather than dealing with them putting folk over government that are doing blatant things wrong. So don't play it. People talk about, well, Sharpton topic we want to address, because I'm not going to play into your distraction. I expect they're going to keep attacking us. One of my friends called me, "You all right?" I said, "I'm fine." He said, "No, I always see they're always after you." I said, "Because I'm always after them." Ain't nobody after you because you ain't after nobody. Hello. We must buckle down for these next few years, because they're going to fight to turn back the clock on everything that was gained. And they are bringing every standard down in order to do it. And you don't know from day to day what's going on. But that's why you got to be rock solid in your faith. Wake up one morning and man can right down the block from the Hilton Hotel shoot a man. Yeah. And they can't find him 4 days later.
He's gone. He's gone.
But let me tell you a side part of that story that a lot of people don't know or not notice. I'm watching, I was at the studio yesterday, and I'm watching all of the reports before I went on talking about Trump. And they said they could find on camera where the man went, checked in the hospital, had to come down, shopped at Starbucks. This is the man that killed the health CEO, United Health CEO. And he did this, he did that, and the man, here's a picture of the man, and the man went to Port Authority, get a bus, they assume, and never came out. And I'm saying, one, that's scary. But the other side of that, I want you to know that they got all these cameras on you and me too. You run around talking about nobody see me, and they got all that footage on him in a day. Imagine all that footage they got on you.
My Lord. Jesus.
We're living in a time where your privacy don't exist, which is why I don't care how saved and sanctified you are. You better behave like you talk.
That's right.
Because they can dig up anything. I'm sitting up there watching. I said, well, how did they get all this? Because they got cameras everywhere. That's why I tell Tony, go home and go to sleep. You can't go to them places no more, Tony. I'm trying to help you. But we're living in those kind of times. And that's also why I'm very strict about what we say and do, because they're going to use that. People talk about rebel, I don't like people say things unless they're clear. That's right. Because we can't, in our organization, people just be ad-libbing. And don't know what they're talking about or don't know what we know. Because these people are serious about how they want to dominate the world. Let me tell you why what was so important. I mentioned it briefly in the beginning. The importance of President Joe Biden going to Angola. They went to announce this whole railway investment they're doing. It's going through the whole, what they call the Libido Corridor, which is Angola, Zimbabwe, and Tanzania, and the Congo. Now, not only do they need the railway there, it offsets the fact that China and Russia has been making a lot of investments in Africa. and they're trying to offset that for their own security, the U.S. But there's a deeper thing here. Why has there been such neglect on Africa?
Yes, I know.
Aside from the billions they're going to put in the railway and the billion that Biden announced they're doing humanitarian aid, aside from that, and that's important, I'm not minimizing, but aside from that, it is the scientific basis of white supremacy that anything that is not of white origin is inferior. You got to understand this now. It's going to take about 3 minutes on this. White supremacy that has been indoctrinated for generations says you discount anything other than what is white. So Africa, with all of its richness, and all of its minerals, and all of the things that the world needs as its common core to build everything else, is not even discussed in mass media. In the U.S., Europe, I go to London, I go to all over Europe speaking. Africa is not even in discussion, because to discuss it is to act like it has importance. And to give it importance gives it equality. So to ignore you is to act like you are not significant. That's part of a trained white supremacist nature. So when we march, when we rap, the reason they get upset about that is that we are not supposed to disturb their supremacist peace. So the real meaning of no justice, no peace, not that we are violent, not that we're going to break a window, is that you will not have the peace of ignoring our pain. If I can ignore a whole continent, right now, they're enslaving people in Sudan. Right now, they're fighting over democratic principles everywhere. If we can have people ignore Africa, ignore Haiti, ignore anything black, then it marginalizes the value and worth of any one of us. And that is why it is important that we keep our people and our situations front and center. Because if you allow the marginalizing of our people, you reinforce the inferiority. Part of what we have to do is get out of our own self-imposed inferiority complex.
That's right, yes.
It's bad enough when others look down on us. But it is worse when we look down ourselves. When we accept a double standard. When we accept being ignored. And that's why I said earlier in my statement, they have flipped the values to where I am very concerned. That's why we're going to D.C. January 20th. That if we don't grab it and shake our people up and quit all this fighting among who's the baddest and who's the most whatever, we need everybody doing what they do. Because they're trying to flip the value. Do you know you could not have a more qualified woman or man than Kamala Harris? Watch this. So Here's a woman, raised single-parent home, goes through school, go to Washington, Howard University. Could have went and joined the law firm. Went back home, became public defender, then became the first black woman DA in San Francisco, then became the first black woman Attorney General of the state, became the first black woman U.S. Senator, became vice president, paid the dues, got an education, runs against a man convicted of 34 felonies, and the convict beats the DA, the Attorney General, the Senator. What message does it give to our kids? Oh, well, we'll stand by you if you do the right thing. But what happened with Kamala? That's why I started out by talking about the Neely case. So, don't worry about nothing. The community stand behind you. Man, choke a man to death. Had no authority from nowhere. Doesn't work for law enforcement, don't work for transit. I'm just a man on the train. And because I'm me, and he's nothing, and nobody will stand up for him, I'll hold him and choke him as long as I want to. What is the standard? If they can get away with doing that to him, what can they do to you? Well, Reverend was making noise. Noise is a sentence to death. Unruliness, sentence to death. That's why I want to stand there every day to join the other groups there. Because it's not about somebody's behavior, it's about the law and being protected. They didn't think that anybody would stand up. When I heard about this, Reverend Johnny Green, I was out of town. I come back and do the funeral and try to help the family because I wanted them to know it mattered to us. Even the mayor and them was talking, well, you know, there's disturbances on the train. Well, they don't be choking out anybody else.
That's right.
You can't justify it.
You know, they're real selective in who they're going to jump on. We got a corporate office down Times Square area. I see plenty of whites cutting up, carrying on, imitating Michael Jackson and Taylor Swift. And I don't grab them and choke them to death. If they allow this to happen in this case, they are bringing down the standards of justice in this town. We're not going to sit by it. And I've said to the family, and as I said, George Floyd's brother's here this morning, and Central Park 5, Curry White's here, Eric Gardner's brother. The reason they still here is I stick with families that are not just out there. You know, you got some folks just go for, I'm just going to make a couple prayers and give settlement. No, get justice. Gwen Carr tell you, her family settled. The lawyers worked with that. George Floyd family settled. Curry White settled. We helped all of them. Helped pay for Eric Gardner's funeral. Never asked for a dime back. George Floyd, I preached his funeral, paid for his funeral and his burial. Didn't want a dime back when the family got their money. Same thing, Curry White. Worked here 3 years. I'm not in this. I don't need your money. I can preach, go do my radio TV show. You're not taking care of me. I want justice. Whatever you get is yours. I want justice. Ain't get interested. But all the stuff they try to come with, they've never ever went to a victim and said, well, they went to them, but they didn't get what they wanted. Said, you got a settlement for millions of dollars. Did you have to kick any back to Reverend Sharpton? Not one. I don't want a donation. I want us to be the organization that stand up for people that nobody else will stand up for. And that's what we built man to be. And let me also make it real clear that we cannot be an afterthought. Because that feeds into white supremacy. Oh, the headline there is so and so and so and so. Oh yeah, by the way, something. No. Part of why we march, part of why we demonstrate, part of why what the documentary on me say I'm allowed by, is they wanted us to be an afterthought. When Bernard Getz 40 years ago shot them kids on the train and we stood up and was loudmouth, that's in the documentary. They wanted them kids to be an afterthought.
That's disgrace.
Howard Beach shot a kid, ran a kid rather on the highway, afterthought. Well, just that kid got killed. I've been doing this for 50 years. Because the only way you stop from being an afterthought is that you got to make noise and stand with those victims. And then the last thing I want to leave, and I'm going to let you go. You get the Bible out, Reverend. You got a Bible? You're a preacher, right? Pastor, don't you? I wasn't going to this, but when I heard Turner, when I heard Reverend Jordan turn this corner, St. Matthew, 14th chapter, 22nd verse. So you got this new thing now, they don't use Bibles anymore, everybody on their smartphone. 14th chapter, 22nd verse. Y'all get a
22nd verse. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side.
Now Jesus was ministering to people, and he decided to stay to disperse the multitude. And he sent his disciples on a ship. Y'all go to the other side. Go ahead.
And he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And
He sent the multitudes away, went up on the mountain to pray. Read.
And when the evening was come, he was there alone.
He was by himself. You know, I meet all these preachers, Jordan, that got to have an entourage, right? Bodyguard. I go to churches and preachers got 12 bodyguards around. Don't even know who they are. And they walk outside the church. I don't know who they bodyguarding from. I tell them, they said, Reverend, you ain't got but one guy with you? Half the country mad at me, the Republicans. Ain't nobody mad at him, but he got 12 guards. Sometimes you got to be by yourself. Jesus by himself, but then go ahead and read.
But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary.
But the ship, this is where Jordan made me deviate this morning. The ship on the water that had the disciples was in the midst of a storm. The waves started overtaking it. And what happened?
And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea.
And in the midst of the storm, on the fourth watch, Jesus walked through the storm. In the midst of the storm, with the waves going, with those on the ship fearing they'd be overtaken, on the fourth
watch of the night.
Fourth watch. Where did I stop there? Because some of y'all don't understand that sometimes deliverance don't show up right away. Sometimes you get too comfortable and God will let storms rise and bring you to to the brink of giving up. They didn't come the first watch. Jesus didn't come the second watch. He went to the fourth watch. Y'all good and scared now. And in the midst of the storm, on the fourth watch, Jesus came through the storm. Some of y'all sitting up here talking about, I don't know what we're going to do, Trump won. Sometimes we need a storm. They're about to cut your Medicaid. They're about to cut your Medicare. They're about to bring back step and frisk. And I come to tell you, in the midst of the storm.
And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit, and they cried out for fear.
Wait a minute now, when they looked, now they're in the storm, tossed and driven. And Richard said, when they looked through the storm, Jesus coming. His disciples, they knew Jesus. But they were so scared, they said, here come a ghost. Here come an evil figure. Those that you familiar with, you turn on. Because the panic of the storm got you seeing your help as your evil spirit. You start miscasting those that can bring you out of the storm. Read.
But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid.
In the middle of the storm, Jesus had to calm them down. Now mind you, now he didn't calm the storm down. He had to calm them down in the storm. I come to tell you, you don't have to ask God to calm down Washington. You need to first calm you down. First of all, don't worry about the waves. Calm down. We've been through storms before. Don't panic. We've made it a way out of no way before. We've cried before. Read.
And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou.
Lord, Peter said, now here's Peter, militant disciple. Said, Lord, if it be thou. What did he ask?
Bid me come unto thee on the water.
If it's you, Lord, let me come out there on the water. Bid me to come. Let me walk on water. Read.
And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus.
The Bible said Peter started walking on the water. Peter, now in the middle of the storm, scared of the waves, winds blowing, started walking on the water. Read.
But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And
But when he saw the wind boisterous, that's y'all. When y'all start seeing these folk acting the fool, when y'all start seeing folk winning elections and taking power, and y'all get scared, I don't know what we're going to do now. They all in now. You walking on the water. Elected a black president, re-elected him, Obama. Elected a black mayor, elected blacks all over the state. You came through the storm, but a little wind comes, and then you stop. Because Peter never sank, thank you, Reverend. Peter never sank till he looked down. As long as he was looking up, he could walk on water. As long as he was looking up, the waves couldn't drown him. As long as he was looking up, the winds couldn't blow him down. As long as he was looking up, he could walk against the elements. I come to tell you this morning, don't look down. Keep looking up. If you look up, you'll stay up. If you look up, you'll get up. If you look up, you'll rise up. We'll rise, never to fall again. We've come through the storms. I've been through the storms. But God will make a way through the storm. God will guide our feet and hold our hand. Look up. Look up. Look up. the Neely trial downtown Manhattan. On the way to Montgomery, they tried to realign districts there. But because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Every day I get up is another problem. Text messages to me. But because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know what Peter forgot while he was walking. I know who holds the future. And he wouldn't call me off the ship and let me drown if I keep looking up. I ain't paying you no mind. I'm not thinking about what you say. I know you don't like me. I ain't crazy about you. But I'm looking up. Because he lives. Because he lives.
God sent his son. They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal,
join National Action Network. You may be here in the auditorium, you may be watching us on the television Impact or listening on 1190 WLIB. Wherever you are, I want you to come. If you're here, you can come right down to me and let me sign you up to National Action Network. If you're listening by the airwaves, go to the nationalactionnetwork.net. But join right now. Be a member of the organization. Come on. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Y'all heard me say how I commend Ron McHenry and all of you that have been going down to deal with the Jordan Neely case. This is his uncle, Christopher Neely. I wanted, while we were still broadcasting, to say, when Jordan was killed, is Eric Garland's mother sitting next to him. And just like, I'll never forget, I was speaking at a convention in Las Vegas, and I got back to the airport. I was speaking at a convention, Reverend. I don't gamble. Don't be looking. And I got back to the airport, and Cynthia Davis called me from Staten Island.
That's right.
And told me that the police had choked the man to death.
Yeah, I remember.
And I said, well, I'm getting ready to get on the plane. I said, I'll be landing in the morning, one of them red-eye flights. She said, well, can you talk to his mother now? And I said, before I could say yeah or no, she connected. And I talked to Miss Carr. And I told her I'm on my way back to New York. I said, I'll tell you what, if we can help, be at the rally Saturday. She said, well, I need you to help. I said, well, you be there Saturday morning. And we'll leave the rally and go to Staten Island and march to New York City.
Yes, we did. That's right.
And we packed buses out here that Saturday morning.
10 years now.
And 10 years ago, and I told her that I don't care what police say, Eric selling Lucy's, Eric doing the same mess they're doing with Jordan Neely. They try to blame the victim. I said, I don't care what they say, we will not leave your side. We'll take care of the funeral. And I spoke at the funeral, they took care of everything. 10 years later, during the Jordan Neely, he was imitating Michael. I preached Michael's funeral. I stood up for Michael. Michael came right here at National Action Network when they tried to take all of his, owning all of the manuscripts and things from the entertainment world. And when Reverend Johnny Green called and told me about Jordan, I said, they don't have a right. I don't care what Jordan was doing on the train. This wasn't even a policeman. It was a policeman. You gonna legalize a civilian being able to choke somebody to death. And they won't argue about whether it was intentional or not. When the man testified, I told him to let it go. So when you see what's going on in Jordan, look at that could be your child. That could be you, because they are giving a legal premise that they can go at all of us. Well, I don't know, maybe he had mental issues. I don't know what issue he had. The issue, Jordan didn't do nothing to nobody, they did it to him. Why do we keep trying the victims? So I told Reverend Green, I said, let me know what you need us to do. We'll help with the funeral, whatever. And they told us we did what we could there. And I came back in town, did the eulogy. As things occurred, the trial started, and I'm trying to push some of our young leaders out. I said, McHenry, y'all go down there every day. Ashley started going, my daughter, and a few of y'all went down there every day. I said, other groups are there, respect everybody. Everybody ain't got to, like I said, we all don't sing the same song, we got the same hymn book. We're trying to get justice. And I wanted to push them out. I wanted it would make it a Sharpton thing. I want them to stand up there and let them know the community felt it. But as things happen, I happen to be at a place that I go sometime, meetings, and ran into his uncle. And his uncle told me a lot of what was going on. He and his own deals in the entertainment world and other world, self-sufficient. And I said to him, well, he said, only thing is that I am going to do, I want to help to raise some money to put a headstone on Jordan's grave. I said, I thought we did that. He said, no, there's no headstone. So I want to say publicly on the air that I don't want him to raise a dime. National Action Network is going to pay for a headstone. Why? Because it's what I spoke about this morning. If we marginalize our own,
Yes.
we are reinforcing all of our enemies. I want children one day. Like when I was a kid, they used to bring us out and we go to Alexander Hamilton's burial and go to where they buried. They took us somewhere up yonder where Roosevelt was. Was it Oyster Bay? I want them to say, Jordan Neely, why is that such an act? This was a young man they thought was nothing. But the community stood up and said, no, he's something to us. So I told them that there in private. I want to say it publicly where everybody can hear it. And whatever the family gets and whatever else we can do for the family, we're going to do. But the tombstone, I'm going to have Christopher, Uncle Christopher, that's his uncle, work with Ashley. And whatever that is, we'll cover. Because, and let me tell you something, I don't do these coverings because of we got all that kind of money. I do that because I am sick of people getting on the internet and putting up GoFundMe pages, hustling off the pain of other people that never get the money. A bunch of internet GoFundMe hustlers. So that's why I say it publicly. That I'm gonna do this. I ain't raising nothing for it, for that. Well, we raise it there and we do it out of our budget. Because I've never seen, George Floyd's brother, Terry Stanner, he'll tell you, you see more folk make more money off George Floyd than his family ever would get. Don't even know him. Got folk we running out there speaking for the family. I said, how you gonna talk for the family here? And then, well, y'all ain't mad enough. How you gonna tell the family how mad they are? Say it like this. Say, no, get up there and say how you feel. You weren't an activist. You a victim. Don't try to act like you Martin Luther King. You a victim. I told a guy I was helping in Columbus, Ohio. And some of the groups there, including our chapter, National. No, you have to say it like this, do it like this. I say, you're not Martin Luther King, you're Rodney King. Don't get your kings mixed up. Say how you feel. And we come on and say what we feel needs to be said. I do not care what they did to mischaracterize and destroy the reputation of Jordan Neely is a sinner of shame. Because whatever issues he had gave them no justification for what they did. And I don't care whether he had problems or not. Some of y'all in here now ain't all the way all right. But I'm going to stand up for you. Stand up, Tony. We got PhDs in here and no D's. That's why it's national action that way. So I wanted to say that to Christopher. Christopher came down and joined, for I could tell you all he was here, but I wanted to say that to Christopher. And I actually work with Christopher. I got nothing to do with all the other. All right. Y'all know what I'm saying. All right, let's get ready to take our offering. I need to raise our offering quickly.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
All right. She's at the court every day. She's at the court every day. So she can yell all she wants because she do the work. You know, if I didn't know who it was, I'd have sat down and messed with my heart. But she do the work. She can jump up when she get ready. All right. I need about 10 people to give $100 or more. Come quickly. Membership, $330. Guardians, $100. Minister Winston Gilchrist, $100. Dr. Jesse Fields, saw you on the news the other night, $200. Dr. Haynes, $100. Men's Auxiliary, $102. Man with the red jacket on. Oh, he got the red waist jacket. You must have used to sing with Temptations or something. I ain't seen a waistcoat like that long. Louis Papa, my brother, you love him? Louis Papa, $1,000. Minister Carolyn, $100. All right, give me some 50s. Brother David got on black and red today. Reverend Ramsey, $50. Anna Quayle, $50. Kitty, $50. Laura Sands, $50. Come on, 20s. 20s, Gwen Carr leading the way. Give me some money music. All right. Now everybody, $1, $5, $10. bring on new members, just a minute. I want to do two things before we bring them on. First of all, because y'all know I got to get to Montgomery in the morning. I got to do my show at 5, then I'm out of here. But let's hear some words.
Vampire millionaires. What she wanted to do, she wanted to change. You know, she didn't want that. She didn't believe in that science. Now, if you're gonna tell me you're gonna put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill, then you gotta change the words on the back of the bill that represent nothing but diabolical. But at the end of the day, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that has coming out. The sister that was in there, that stood up, no justice, no peace. Your sound just keeps radiating in my head every day. I feel you. I love all of the sisters, you know, that come out. I appreciate all the elders I see out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got my protection and love for life. I see it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta come down there and y'all representing for me, for the Neely family. Obviously, y'all really good at doing it because they definitely was complaining about y'all in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was trying to look for a mistrial. You know, they was preparing for an appeal, you know? So either way, with this case, whether they knock down the top charge, so now they're going to the second charge, which is only a maximum of 5 years. But like they said, at the end of the day, he's probably not even, he might get a year or 2, or he might get probation. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate what we're dealing with. So all we can do is keep our heads up as a community. That's it. This is the belly of the beast. We're just trying to get up out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all for showing love. I appreciate Al Sharpton for what he did for my nephew, to all the peoples, from day one, it's just crazy, man. Like I said, when I lost my sister to Sean Sutherland, he got 36 years to life. They got his fingerprints on a suitcase that he put my sister in, you know what I'm saying? But there was no video, you know what I'm saying? I might have got justice in one case, but I didn't get justice. It doesn't look like I'm gonna get the proper justice in this case. You know what I'm saying? But with the strength of y'all, it's gonna keep me going, and I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for the love.
Give him a hand. Brother Christopher, Neely. And I want him to know, whatever the outcome, that we and he are bonded family. Now he joined.